Welcome, everyone. Thank you for giving us CNN 10 minutes of your day. I'm Carl Azus. This Wednesday's show starts in a U.S. island territory that's about 1,000 miles southeast of Miami, Florida. It's Puerto Rico, and the message from its governor to the people living there is be calm and be prepared for aftershocks. The southern part of the island was shaken by a 6.4 magnitude earthquake on Tuesday. That's powerful. It can cause a lot of damage, and it came one day after a 5.8 magnitude jolt. These were just the latest in a series of quakes that the U.S. territory has seen since late December. The U.S. Geological Survey has recorded hundreds of tremors within the past couple weeks. After Tuesday's quake, which was the biggest of them, Governor Wanda Vazquez-Garced declared a state of emergency and activated the Puerto Rico National Guard. Power was knocked out for people near the southern coast. Water service was knocked out to more than a quarter of the island's utility customers. The earthquakes also affected part of the island's topography. Punta Ventana, a rock formation and arch on Puerto Rico's southwestern coast, collapsed in Monday's quake. Parts of Puerto Rico are still recovering from a different kind of natural disaster that hit more than 2 years ago. Hurricane Maria, as a ferocious Category 4 storm, made landfall on the island in September of 2017. It ultimately affected all of Puerto Rico's residents in one way or another and caused tens of billions of dollars in damage. There's an international fight going on against Australia's bushfires or wildfires, and they're the worst blazes the country has seen in decades. They've flared up all over the continent. 24 people have died. Thousands of homes have been damaged or destroyed. Ecologists estimate that 500 million animals have been affected in some way. Officials say some of the fires started naturally when lightning struck drought-affected forests. But 24 people have been charged with intentionally lighting wildfires, and police say dozens of them might have been caused unintentionally, like when someone throws away a lit cigarette on dry ground. Australia's fire season typically coincides with its summer months, which it's in now, but an ongoing drought and high heat have made this one worse than usual.
We're on board the HMAS Adelaide, Australia's largest naval vessel, which has sailed into Eden Harbour here on the south coast of New South Wales. It came in yesterday under eerie skies filled with smoke. Today it is raining and very cold, which obviously is a reprieve for the firefighters who have been fighting those bushfires raging around here. As far as this vessel is concerned, they have been brought here to conduct any evacuations and provide any assistance necessary. This Seahawk behind me, it has been conducting reconnaissance missions throughout the day, traveling up and down the coastline, looking for any communities that have been cut off from the bushfires. Now, 3,000 Australian Defence Force personnel have been deployed to assist with the bushfire crisis. The government has come under extraordinary criticism and pressure, particularly the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison for his lack of leadership during this crisis. But the Australian Defence Force wants people to know that they are here, they are ready to help. Downstairs there are over 1,000 bunks and stretchers ready for any evacuees. There is a medical centre as well as supplies, food, water. As I say, the military says they are ready to help. These service members, they are Australians. It has been breaking their heart witnessing the scenes. They say they are proud to be here and to serve amongst the men and women fighting these bushfires. Anna Corrin, CNN, HMAS Adelaide, Eden, Australia.
10-second trivia. Guglielmo Marconi is best remembered for his work on what? Microwaves, telepathy, food science, or telegraphy? The Italian inventor devised a wireless telegraph that helped give rise to long-distance radio. The very idea of downloading a podcast to a smartphone would have blown his mind. But Marconi's Nobel Prize for helping develop telegraphy was awarded in 1909, so it's been a few years. One question now, with the popularity of podcasts on the rise, is whether companies that provide them can make them profitable. Do they make business sense? One popular streaming service is betting, but not promising, that they do.
Spotify wants to be known for more than just music.
Our goal is to be the largest global audio network.
It's investing big in a whole new area, podcasts.
From the New York Times, I'm Michael Barbaro. This is The Daily.
I'm Steve Inskeep with Noel King, and this is Up First from NPR News.
People associate Spotify with music, so why move into podcasts?
You can't deny that podcasts has now become a very important factor in people's audio experience. The idea is for us to have a seamless platform across music and podcasts.
The streaming giant bought Gimlet Media, Anchor, and Parcast, 3 popular podcast companies, for nearly $400 million. A large price tag considering the entire podcasting industry's ad revenue was less than $500 million in 2018. But the podcast industry is young and growing fast.
We recently announced something new for iTunes and iPod, and it's called podcasting. It's been described a lot of different ways. One way has been TiVo for radio.
Apple had you guys beat a little bit in terms of the timeline. They got into podcasts in 2005, and as a result, most people go to Apple. So how are you guys going to change that?
It's only been about 2 years, and we're already seeing 10% of our user base listening to podcasts. We're also very much dedicated to creating an atmosphere where creators, producers, writers want to be here exclusively. And so being able to offer an experience where they can not only make podcasts, get the data and insights that they need, and then in addition to that, expose their podcasts globally to a much larger audience is going to be a big game changer for us.
Season 4 of Startup is almost here. And we're starting off with some episodes about the company that makes this podcast, Gimlet Media.
Alex Bloomberg co-founded Gimlet and spent 4 years building it into one of the most popular podcast studios, launching hit series like Homecoming, Reply All, and Heavyweight. When Spotify first approached him, he was nervous.
It's a heavy thing to sort of like build a business and then sort of like hand over the reins.
Ultimately, it was the access to Spotify's resources that sealed the deal for him.
We just have so much more understanding of our audience and how they consume podcasts. In the old world, people download the podcast and then you don't know what happens to it. You don't know when they listen to it, how much they've listened to, if they've even listened to it, and you don't know what else they've listened to. You don't know what their habits are. You can't sort of make any sort of assumptions about like, well, if they listen to this, then they'll also listen to the thing that we're making. You're just blind. And so as part of Spotify, because it's this huge platform of users, you can sort of see like this group listens to this music and they like this kind of podcast. That's one of the biggest advantages.
For now, Spotify's bet seems to be paying off. Podcast listeners spend nearly twice as much time on the platform than just music listeners. Eventually, the company expects 20% of all listening on the platform to be something other than music.
Our product teams have been working tirelessly to be able to deliver personalization to users on the podcast side the same way we do on the music side.
Even Spotify says it can't guarantee it will make a profit from podcasting. But for Ostroff, it's all about betting on the future.
The younger generation has really taken to it. And I always say, where the young people go, the older people follow.
On July 7th, 1999, a man in Utah bought a McDonald's hamburger for 79 cents. He didn't eat it. He carried it around as a demonstration of how hamburgers can deteriorate. But then it got stuck in a coat pocket and was forgotten, and the burger was just reopened more than 20 years later. The amazing thing about this is how it looks. Exactly the same. Only the pickle on the inside looks its age. The man says the burger smells like cardboard. A chef believes it dried so quickly that bacteria or mold didn't have time to grow into it. Does that make it an impossible burger? It's not a Whopper by any sense, but you can tell Wendy where the beef is. They could give the old burger to old McDonald to keep on the farm. At least the Chick-fil-A cows would be happy that no one ate it. But its owners are hoping it'll turn to gold if someone bullish on it offers to buy the burger, unless, of course, it's stolen by a Hamburglar. I'm Carl Azus for CNN.